Do you ever get stuck in this complete overwhelming space of just feeling like you have so many ideas and you've got so much going on and you just don't know where to begin and it all just feels a bit like, yeah, I feel you. I really, really feel you because this is something that has been so relatable to me for so many years, and I am finally beginning to gather some awareness around the whole concept of what being overwhelmed means and some really practical ways to get yourself out of that mindset. So, the first thing for me is something again that has come from this wonderful free challenge that I was doing last week called 5K in 5 days with the incredible Jodie Shield and the Magnetic Money Academy. And basically, she just reframed it in such a way that just made so much sense. And I think where to begin and a good place to begin is to really understand that anything that is in your life that feels heavy, that just doesn't feel easy, doesn't feel in flow, there's maybe some tension there, there's some like heavier feelings there, there's lots and lots of activity from ego there. Anything like that, I think I've just said it, is try to recognize that it is most likely coming from a place of ego. Now, I know we talk about ego a lot, especially in the personal development world and spirituality. It's a very well-rounded topic. We have all heard of the ego, and we are becoming increasingly aware of the ego's tactics to keep us stuck, keep us in the same place because it's safe and it just wants to keep us safe. It's coming from a good place. However, it isn't always helpful or practical in our lives to stay safe, to stay small, to stay in our comfort zone. Because how many of us know, we know if we stay in those places, yet we've got our eye on a goal that's over there, we're not going to get there if we don't stretch ourselves, if we don't move out of our comfort zone. At some point nothing will change. And the other concept that has really come to my attention recently is not only is there ego, but there's also a spiritual ego, which I have just so been guilty of being in my spiritual ego. Because I went through, my awakening has kind of gone through a few different stages and levels, which is completely normal. There is no one size fits all. It's not ever going to be the same experience for every single one of us. We're all going to have our own unique experiences with it. And something that I have been becoming aware of is how much my spiritual ego has been at play, especially with the people around me, my loved ones, when I've got into this place of I'm so awakened now and I can see that they're still unconscious, or any of these thoughts that come into your head. That is spiritual ego. It's kind of when you gain a new understanding about something, and then if you're finding that you're having a strong reaction or kind of like judgment is coming up within you, even though it's not coming from a bad place, none of this is coming from a bad place, but I find it quite amusing because I recognize now that that is my spiritual ego. And to get back to the point of talking about overwhelm, I really would love to relate to you that overwhelm is a choice. Overwhelm is a belief. Overwhelm is a story. And again, if it's coming from ego, which my understanding is it comes from ego, feeling overwhelmed, I think there are a few layers to it. I think feeling overwhelmed for me is when it can be when I've got loads and loads of things going on in my life and lots of people demanding my time, my energy, and my assistance for their benefit, but it's actually leaving me feeling really depleted and drained. So that's one system of overwhelm. And another system of overwhelm, which I guess is the light shadow aspect. If we want to go down the shadow route, so we've got the dark shadow aspect and then the light shadow aspect, is I can step into this feeling of overwhelm when I have so many incredible ideas. It feels like gifts from God just flowing through me, flowing through and through and through. It's kind of like feast or famine sometimes for me. It's like I'll just have nothing going on and then I'll just have so much going on. And it feels so much. It feels incredible. I feel grateful. And then I feel terrified and overwhelmed because it's kind of like this abundance of ideas. And then ego steps in and it's kind of like, but where do I start? What do I do with all this information? I've got this big, massive goal, this incredible idea. I can just see like this whole world that I could create as a business to help so many people in life. I've got ideas, I've got book ideas, I've got meditation ideas, I've got course ideas, I've got my own creative influence into it, to use my acting skills to help others, to help people with their speaking, with their being in public speaking. And already I feel, because I'm reframing it in my mind and I'm reframing I'm exploring what comes up for me when I think about overwhelm in my life. And usually it has been, perhaps up until now, it has been very heavy. It's been very draining. I just wanted to sleep because for me, it was just easier to bury my head in the sand and to just not take any action and stay there, stay safe, stay in my comfort blanket with all these ideas and not do anything. Because I'm always thinking of the bigger picture. I'm a projector in human design. I have been aware for many, many years before I had any conscious awareness of what human design was or astrology, any of that. And one thing I've always known intuitively is that I always have a really good ability at seeing the bigger picture, at looking from the outside perspective at the potential of a situation, of an idea. And automatically, if I don't check myself, I can get so caught up in, oh my God, but it's going to turn into this, which is incredible, but it's huge, without backtracking and thinking about, but hang on, I'm not there yet. That's where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know how it's going to turn out. You know, not all the tiny little details, but I know overall the general feel, the general juiciness of what it is that I am creating. And that's with my beautiful gifts as a projector and my huge ambitions as a Sagittarius. I've always got my eye on a future goal. I'm always looking forwards. I'm always looking for the next thing. However, I recognize now how much that can lead me into overwhelm if I'm approaching my ideas from a place of ego, from a place of not being in full acceptance and full alignment with my shadow selves, because that goes for the light shadows as well as the dark shadows. And just fully embracing the fact that I've been gifted with these ideas, and Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't have to have done it all now. I don't need to force it or push it or cling on to it for dear life because it might escape and go on to someone else. That's very much from a fear and scarcity place. And so what I'm now learning is to reframe overwhelm with excitement. and to reframe these bigger goals, just literally reframing it, making it so simple to take tiny little micro steps, because I know where I'm going. And you probably do too. You've probably got some incredible ideas. You've got some amazing things that you wish to create and bring into the world and help others. And I'm sure if I spoke to any of you one-to-one, you would be so full of excitement for something that you really want to manifest, that you really want to bring into existence. But you may be feeling a bit caught up in the how, in the where to begin, in what works for you, in finding your own system. And something that I've realized for me is to avoid overwhelm and to keep all of these. I'm someone who has to, well, not has to, but who seems to thrive on having a few different things on the go at the same time. I kind of dip in a little bit here, and then I'll dip into this, and then I'll do this. And that's my approach. I kind of zigzag across from things, but I get things done. But others, maybe like you may need to just take it one step at a time and more of a linear path, and build your blocks that way. And that's absolutely perfect too. There is no one size fits all. And the biggest thing that I have discovered, if ever I'm feeling overwhelmed, that is a big sign that I'm out of alignment, that something is off, that I need to regroup. I just need to sit. I just need to breathe, take in a few conscious, deep, nourishing, beautiful breaths. And go into complete acceptance of all my feelings, all my shadows, the dark and the light, all my ideas. I go through a lot of different meditations which really work for me, and sometimes I will visualize putting all of my ideas into a beautiful bubble. It's really safe, it's really secure, they're there for me, they're not going to go anywhere. And I visualize in my head that they're all in this bubble, and then I physically see myself letting the bubble just drift into the abyss, knowing that it's always going to be there. And then just realizing how much space is left around me. And just having like a really simple visualization like that can be so useful for getting out of our heads, especially when the monkey mind is going crazy and ego is trying to just keep us in that place that it's got good intentions, it's got beautiful intentions, but that place of comfort is just a survival instinct. And the truth is that if you want to get ahead, you want to achieve, then you can't stay in those places that keep you safe and keep you comfortable. We must learn to stretch ourselves out of our comfort zone. And I'm not saying go out and do something really drastic and huge that, is a massive risk or anything, unless that feels like you're being pulled towards that instinctively. But what I would encourage you to do is to reframe I'm overwhelmed, or I'm feeling overwhelmed with I've got all these gifts and I'm feeling so excited, and let's get into a place of alignment, and let's just write a few things down. Let's just think about how I can move my energy forwards, how I can move myself towards my goals in manageable, bite-sized chunks. And some examples for me, I've got these written down, and this is actually from Jodie's VIP challenge as well, which was so useful. And the beautiful Natalie was explaining her process of writing a few action steps, simple action steps that you can take daily to help you move towards your bigger goal, because it starts with the small things. It starts with the daily habits. It starts with whatever you are allowing into your energy field that's going to support you. So ask yourself the questions: how can I support myself today? How can I move towards my vision today? What is one simple thing that I could do that is so easy for me to do that I can't possibly not do it? I can't procrastinate because it is so simple. And I promise you, if you keep doing that every day and you check your habits and you stay accountable, you are going to achieve so much more than you ever imagined possible. I look back at my life in the last 5 years and I can't believe how far I've come, how much I have transformed, how much awareness I have gathered and extra wisdom. And my God, I've been through the mill. Last year was the toughest year of my life by far, for many, many reasons. And I see it as a beautiful storm, a beautiful gift from the universe, because it has taught me so much resilience. It has really taught me about what my purpose is now, to not sweat the small stuff or the big stuff sometimes. Again, getting into these kind of places of scarcity and fear and lack is not a nice place to be, and it definitely is not going to help you to move forwards and make changes in your life. So questioning everything, reframing, the power of reframing is huge. And put everything, break it down, brainstorm it, get post-it notes. They are amazing and you feel so satisfied. There is just something about post-it notes that I find so satisfying. And I've got a few, so I've got 6 with my little tasks for each day that I just can't not do because they're so simple. So this one, for example, is to spend 10 minutes on writing and editing my book. My book is 80% written. It's 80% there. Yet there's a little part of me kind of gets into that place where it's like it's so close that I can almost touch it. And yet I feel so terrified about actually finishing. But that is a topic for another day, because otherwise this is going to end up being like an hour-long video, which I would love to do at some point. So please give me some feedback. Let me know in the comments if that would be interesting for you, because I'm always happy to talk about practices that have helped me. In any way that I can to help you also get onto the right track, or just release some of these blocks, some of these limiting beliefs that keep us stuck. So anyway, that's my video wrapping up now about overwhelm. Get your post-its, write down 10 minutes. You can commit 10 minutes a day, I'm sure, to researching something, journaling, meditating, sending an email, talking to a stranger or a contact or somebody that you know. You can definitely commit 10 minutes to it. And I promise you, once you get into those 10 minutes before you know it are going to equate to hours and hours and hours. And the last thing that I will say, which has been so useful for me, is give yourself permission to fail. Because without failure, you don't find what works. Success is built from failure. Failure is feedback, and feedback is good. Any feedback that you get, it's so useful. So useful. Even if it's not feedback that you really particularly want to receive, try and see the lesson in it. Try and see if there's a hidden message in there. Obviously, if someone's just being nasty for no reason whatsoever, then you don't need to take that on. But if it's constructive feedback, I promise you that is the greatest gift that someone can give you. And never forget that if you're not receiving feedback, that is feedback. That's telling you that perhaps something could be different. You could tweak something. You could try something new. You don't have to stay in the same patterns that you've used before. But again, that comes down to trust. Just trust yourself. And I promise you, you have the answers within you. But sometimes we need to dig a little deeper to find them. Okay, my loves, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, as always, for your time, your energy. just for holding the space. And sorry, my boyfriend is calling me now. I'm gonna call him back. But you take care, my loves, and yeah, please leave me a comment below, a like, send me a message if there's anything in particular that you would like some guidance with, some help with. I am here to hold space for you and to share some of my wisdom which has worked in the past and help each other to get through these times. Okay, sending so much love. I will speak to you soon. Bye.